Today, the Capuchins celebrate the memorial of this man, Saint Bernard of Corleone, and he's actually one of my favorite Capuchin saints. He was known, however, more for what he did before he became a Capuchin and how that led him to the order, rather than for the sanctity he showed in his life, because his story is a beautiful and intense story of conversion. You see, before he became a Capuchin, Bernard was one of the most famous sword fighters in all of Italy. He was incredibly skilled with the blade. But one day, he was dueling this man, and out of anger, he cut off this man's arm. He maimed him. And Bernard was deeply troubled by this capacity for evil, this capacity for harm, for anger that he saw within his heart. And so he desired to give his life entirely to God by becoming a Capuchin friar, not only to atone for what he had done, not only to escape perhaps the vengeance of this man and his followers, but ultimately to allow God to completely and utterly transform his heart. And ultimately, this is what God wants for us, right? God wants to transform our hearts and to use what is good in us for his glory, the good of his church, and the good of all people. Saint Bernard no longer used his strength for fighting to win fame or honor for himself, but used it to serve God's people, carrying this massive pot of minestrone on his shoulders, and always stopping and giving it to anyone in need that he saw, anyone who asked for it. God, when we find our vocation, draws out what is best in us and uses it in beautiful ways for the service of others. May God bring about the same conversion of heart in us that he did in Saint Bernard of Corleone.